There you go. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. What about you?
Yeah, well, no, actually, no, I'm horrible. I've got remnants of the. Well, I don't know if it's remnant. I hope it's remnants. I hope I haven't got weeks more of it. A bit of the flu.
Oh
I went
no.
to the weekend, and I came back from Florence, and I must have brought something back with me.
Were you just in Italy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to Loud and Proud Italy.
Oh, hello. I might as well stay there.
It's a pleasure to have you here today with us, and I hope everything is going well. And we're here to discuss the new album that's coming out in a few weeks. And but before that, let's just jump right in. If 18-year-old Dani Filth could see you now, after a Grammy nomination, after having watched black metal move into mainstream mainly, what do you think you would have said? Did you ever envision this genre reaching the level of recognition it has, and especially Cradle of Filth and yourself becoming so popular globally?
I don't know. You'd have to have really good eyesight to peer through the centuries. I don't know. I think when you start a band, you already have a vision in your head of what you think you're going to be like. So you're there with your tennis racket in your bedroom, playing to thousands of people already. And yeah, no, I must admit, no, I would be surprised, and I'm very honoured and privileged to still be doing the same job. Well, saying that, I've never had a proper job, just been a musician. But for the last 30 years, it's been quite a ride. So yeah, I'm hopefully got way more to go. New album obviously just come out, and if I survive this cold, I'll let you know about it.
So like the Screaming of the Valkyries is coming out soon, and when did you start writing the songs that are on it? And was there a specific moment that or event that sparked the creation of the album?
Well, what sparked the creation of an album was joining Napalm and getting two new members, and those two new members, Zoe and Donny. I was going to say Zoe's just married Ashok. The plot thickens, and I actually went to the wedding in Arizona. It was amazing. So happy for them. An unusual thing to happen in a band as well,
Yeah,
but cool. Cool nonetheless. So yeah, since they joined the band, the New Bloods, we've really been on the road. So that's been a good 3 years. So we've taken the opportunity whilst being out on the road to nibble away at the album, and it took about a year to record it because we were still touring. We'd come back, do the drums and bass, go on tour, come back, do guitars, go on tour. And so eventually it has arrived, and I think it's all the better for having Donny and Zoe on it, because not only are they fresh blood, but they were fans before they joined the band, and I think they bring something to it that just gives me the atmosphere of some of the earlier works, as well as being an album that looks, primarily toward the future.
Yes, so like as you just mentioned, the lineup has changed since the last album, Existence is Futile, and you've remained the sole founding member of Cradle of Filth, and mostly like your fans now identify often the band with you, almost as if it was a solo project. How do you feel about that? And also, have you ever considered releasing a solo record?
I'm too busy to release a blooming solo record, and yeah, it's not. If it was just me, it'd be called Dani Filth, and it's not. It's called Cradle of Filth. And no, I think everything needs change. We've never. Well, that's not true. We sacked 3 people over the span of our career, and it was all a long time ago, like 20 years ago at least. People leave the band because it's just a lot of commitment, a lot of hard work, a lot of traveling, a lot of mental disrepair. And as in the case of our previous guitarist, people leave to start families and find that the lifestyle's a bit too hectic. So, see addendum to answer one. Or they just think they can do it better or just drift apart. It's very important to be a family when you join our band. And as a musician joining, well, any band, I guess nowadays, you have to wear many hats. So it's not just being a pretty face. It's in Cradle of Filth, you have to write, contribute toward the album. That happened on this record. Everybody contributed to its creation, and then you've got to do other things. You've got to speak to people, meet and greets, videos. There's a lot of different things you have to actually get rather good at, or at least deal with.
Yeah. So like some lineup changes, but also label change. Despite this, you kept the same producer, and you've worked with Scott for more than a decade right now. And
I think it's about 18,000 centuries now.
Yeah.
We've been with him a fair bit. He just won't go away. That's the trouble.
Well, you must like him. And what's kept this long-standing collaboration fresh? And how does he help shape your sound in the studio or in the songwriting moments?
Well, he's very useful because his studio is close to where I live. There's no distractions there. We honestly didn't go to the pub once. Oh no, that's a lie. We went once with Ed Sheeran, but that was nothing to do with the album.
Well, it was supposed to be on the album, though, the Ed Sheeran song, wasn't it?
No. It's just subject to when it's available to release.
Okay.
So it doesn't conflict with us, and it doesn't conflict with him. And that's all I can say about it.
Okay.
But Scott is like a seventh member, and there's no point in wondering whether it's going to inhibit the albums, because we always experiment with new stuff, new plugins, new equipment, new techniques, just different styles of doing things to get a different result. And I think the album speaks for itself because the production's perfect on it. But what Scott does bring as well is an insight from the beginning, and he helps steer the ship. And he's one of these people, which is very important when you're in a band, probably the most important. You need someone to say, "That shit," or no, that's really good. Someone that's got a vested interest but isn't biased.
Constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you've got to be able to take it. And also someone you can trust in your weakest moments and in your strongest.
Your music videos have always been very cinematic and slightly over the top, let's say. Do you feel that as time goes on, you have to be more cautious about what you write, publish, portraying your videos with this growing sensitivity, especially around certain themes?
I never thought of us being a total shock band, because that's contrived. I mean, yeah, we've done some shocking things, but then we also get criticized for being too romantic and poetic, and why aren't you more shocking? So yeah, I mean, you do have a bit tentatively step around things, but I think we're more inhibited, and everybody's inhibited in videos, and pushing the boundaries a bit more. It's just budget. Videos are so expensive, and especially being a band that all live in different countries. And I think there's things you can get away with and things you can't get away with. And I think it's about art as well, how well crafted it is and how well presented. Like I said, I've just been to Florence, and you have this huge statue of David. We have lots of statues, but huge statue of David, and obviously he's naked.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had a real person there, it would cause uproar. But because it's
art,
tastefully done, and it was, it's a famous piece of historical art. It's not deemed inappropriate.
Yeah. Well, that's true. So in the new album, as happened before plenty of times in your discography, you have some tracks like You're My Nautilus, which has got some Iron Maiden-esque vibe with the dueling guitars and the way it's constructed. So I know you're a big fan of classic heavy metal and Maiden. And what is your earliest memory of hearing Iron Maiden, and how much of an influence have they had on your songwriting?
I think the first time I ever heard Maiden was a friend lent me one of their albums, and So subsequently, I bought Power Slave. That was my first, I think, God knows, I was like 12, 13.
Your favorite Maiden album?
I would probably say Power Slave or okay, I'm going to waste the entire interview trying to think of the blooming which one I prefer. Seventh Son,
Yeah.
or Power Slave, but I love them all. Well, not all of them. I love the I'll keep it shut. But anyway, yeah, a big influence. I've been on stage with Maiden once. We supported Maiden once. Not really want to do that again because people just go Maiden, Maiden all the way through your set. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
I took over Bruce's radio show for a couple of episodes and sang the line to him. We die in a time when dinosaurs ruled the earth, which he loved. He absolutely loved it. Now, other than that, yeah, they've always been a very, like the backbone between them, Priest, Sabbath, um, all three very British bands.
Yeah.
I think a sort of general backbone of heavy metal. Um, and yeah, it's always been someone that you can lean on. Feel comfortable with Iron Maiden. You don't need to describe them, and you don't even need to mention new wave of British heavy metal anywhere near them because just at the mere mention of their name, you know exactly who they are. Like Metallica.
And if you could choose any heavy metal musicians, maybe one of the bands that you just mentioned, how would you go on building your dream band, your dream team, and what genre would you want to do? What music would you want to do?
Well, first, I'd never have any of their singers because obviously they're going to take my job. Not for that, I don't really care, to be honest. Um, um, I don't know. I know there's people who'd like to work with. I don't know about building a dream band. I'm going to be all mushy now. So I've got my dream band. Um, but no, there's people definitely I'd like to work with. King Diamond again. I'd like to do something. Rob Halford would be good. I would really like to do something, and it's a strange one. Um, Lana Del Rey. I
Oh,
know we've just because I like the juxtaposition of doing things with very different musicians, whether it's Ed Sheeran or Bring Me the Horizon, 69 Eyes.
yeah.
I did a thing with Claudio Simonetti for a Dario Argento movie. Just weird things, things that people think, no, that can't work. And then it does. And, to varying degrees of success.
Well, Lana Del Rey's voice would be fantastic in a collaboration. And
Yeah.
yeah, so you were a tape trader back in the day. And what can you tell us of those years? And also, like, is there a specific musician you were pen pal with? Maybe someone that became as big as you and that you're still in contact with?
Well, yes, I was a pen pal because that was the only way really to get, as a fledgling band just starting out, that was the prime way to get your music out there. Like, and basically, you put your demo onto someone else's tapes with other demos and send those out, or you just mail, sell your tape over the internet. Well, not over the internet. We didn't have the internet. What am I saying? And
Pre-internet.
you'd have flyers as well. You'd open it out and you'd pass flyers around, and that's just really how it went. In our formative years, I couldn't afford a telephone, and mobile phones were pretty much non-existent apart from those ones you had to carry around on a skateboard. So I would do interviews from public phone boxes, and I lived in a village, so it wasn't so bad. But there was only like four phone boxes, and the one closest to mine was right in the centre of town, or the village, sorry, just off the high street near the post office. And so I'd be in there halfway through an interview, and there'd be a crowd, like four old grannies queuing up to use the phone, and I'd have to say, "Sorry, I've got about another 40 minutes, I think." Um, but yeah, I was pen pals with quite a few of the originators of the second. Euronymous was one of mine for a while. Um, Guys from Impaled Nazarene and uh, Moonspell, just a bunch of people really.
Are
Sam
you
off
still in contact? I mean, like, you still have a good relationship apart from Euronymous, of course.
No, but yeah. Well, actually, no, I commune with him for the, via Ouija board. Fernando from Moonspell, still in good contact with him. King from, well, for many things. I
Yeah.
call him King Hello. Not all of them, no. I mean, tape trading is sort of not my thing anymore. I use this thing called the web.
Like
Or
apart from the first days of interviewing from public phones, for after all these years in the game, are there any aspects of the good old days that you miss? Like maybe, as you say, like with the new lineup, something felt like the early days. What did you mean about that? And are there certain elements of the underground scene that have definitely changed for you, of course, that you miss?
Yeah, I miss the early day. I miss living in a village. I miss it all being very fresh and new and exciting. When a second wave came about, death metal was just uh, in its formative years as well, and it just felt like a magical era. It was very hard. We were still the period of time where if you wanted to get into a band, sometimes it took a bit of investigative journalism, trying to, you hear of a band, oh my God, they're legendary, but, I can't get hold of any of their music. I mean, I remember back in the day that I actually had to order a copy of Hell Awaits by Slayer for my local department store, and it took 6 months to
Wow.
get here. But made it all the more sort of I don't know. You waited for it, and it became almost like a celebration. Um, and yeah, you went to record stores and you hunted down stuff, and you always saved a bit of money for a mystery record, like one you spot on the day, and that usually was just dictated by how cool they looked on the back. Which shirts were they wearing? Did they have bullet belts? Were
Yeah.
they wearing eyeliner?
Well,
um,
everything nowadays, everything is so readily available.
yeah,
It's
it's
not
so
special
immediate.
anymore.
Yeah. I still collect CDs. In fact, I bought one this morning, um, and I
Do you
put them in the
buy?
car. Yeah, if you put them in the car, you get to appreciate it. Well, it sounds better for a start, but you also get to appreciate it as the artist intended. And you'd know if it goes in my car stereo, it's living in there for a good part of a year anyway, because you just can't be bothered to get it out.
What CD
Uh,
did you buy today?
Pardon?
What
Well,
CD did you buy?
it was obituary. It was an obituary album. It was the last one they did. Just because I realised I didn't have it, and I was just in the mood for something caveman like.
Well, so just a couple more questions, and then you're free to go. First of all, like your voice is quite legendary, and how is there something you
Not
do?
today, and not with this cloth.
Cough aside, how do you maintain it and train it to ensure it stays on top form? Is there a specific vocal regimen or technique that you follow?
Yeah, there's lots of little tricks. At the moment, I feel quite vulnerable because not only am I ill, but I'm on downtime. So I'm doing interviews with some people that are like, oh yeah, we're from this magazine, we're this Screaming magazine or whatever, and they're like, we'd like you to, would you demonstrate? And I'm like, no, and they're like, quite, well, you don't want to do it. It's like, no, because I'm on vocal rest, and when you're on vocal rest, it's just you don't engage that mechanism. And so the tours are coming up, like the first one starts in America mid-April, but I've got some studio work to do before there. About 2 weeks before, I'll start going through the motions, and usually the first rehearsal I sound like shit. Or I sound amazing, and then the next one I sound like shit because I've blown my voice out. It's one or the other, and it's quite unpredictable. But by rehearsal 4, I'm literally back into it, and then that you keep at that, and it's like an engine being constantly kept up to speed. Yeah, I just have things. I use steam. I've got like special drinks and teas, and believe it or not, I don't really go overboard. I used to fuss way more And then I was made a little bit more confident by a doctor I regularly see, although it's not the same one now, who does like vocal massage of the throat. And he does that primarily for opera singers and performers in the West End. And he just relaxed you. It's all about being relaxed, not tense, and just being in the right frame of mind. So part of my like getting ready, the 3 hours that I like, is not only sort of getting ready and getting costumed up and whatever. It's just getting relaxed, listening to music, chilling out with the rest of the guys, and not overthinking it until you're ready to go.
Fair enough. So as we mentioned at the very beginning in this interview, black metal has made its way into mainstream culture in recent years, and even merchandise is hitting new heights in terms of value. I've seen some vintage CRADLE OF FILTH t-shirts selling for over £600 or £700 on eBay or Vinted, and also like you as a band, you've had a collaboration with some high fashion brands. What do you think of this cultural crossover and about the commercialization of black metal's aesthetic?
Well, I don't think it should be overtly secular. I don't think it should be confined to the ideology of a few people who just a little narrow-minded in respect of they want the scene for themselves, and as soon as you like any of their inner circle bands, they instantly retreat into, I only like this band. Have you heard of them? No, because they don't really exist. They're one of those people. Oh, they sold out after their first demo. Obviously, it could get ridiculous. It has got ridiculous in the past anyway, and I think it's actually a cool, unprecedented black metal thing to just do something like that. I mean, we're in the process of doing a whole run of collaborative garments with Vetements, which is this huge Paris fashion house, and they're doing this sort of subversive fashion stuff at the moment. And I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I mean, I'm not used to this. This is more subversive, I think. It's like when Gull from Godseed came out as gay, and then he was like purposefully, poking the black metal dead body with a stick by coming up with things like, yeah, I'm designing girls, gym slips, and it was brilliant because it was like that's way more fucking black metal than anything else. That's just really pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's cool if it's done in a good way, then it's cool. And I don't like being dictated to it. And I think it's cool to push your art in weird and wonderful ways. I mean, it doesn't matter what people say. 30 years into our career, we certainly haven't sold out, and we've seen scenes come and go, and we're still doing our thing. And I think by widening the scope of what the scene can achieve through whatever media, and crossing over into bigger things, I don't know, I think that benefits anybody in the scene. I mean, music is a struggling format at the moment because of, the lack of physical sales, the cost of going on tour, etc., etc. So, I think it's cool that the musicians can explore more than just that, especially if they've got, strong ideologies and images.
Yeah, and also like everyone should do what they feel like, and
exactly.
The gatekeepers of metal, Well, Dani, our time is up. Thank you again for being with us today. If there's anything else you'd like to add for Loud and Proud Italy, please go ahead.
I love your food too much. Stop making it so tasty. Sorry. Our new single, our third video for the track White Hellebore will be out on, I think it's the week the album comes out, which is March 22nd. We've got a slew of summer festivals Did I mention all this before? I think I did.
No, not yet.
Okay, so we go to America, co-headline the Chaos and Carnage touring festival thing with Dying Fetus. Come back from that mid-May, then we're doing all summer, some festivals. I think there's one in Italy. I should know this. And then interim gigs with Nervosa supporting us around Europe. Then we go to South America, and then there's something in the pipeline which is amazing. It may not happen this year, it may happen beginning of next year. I can't speak anything more about it because it's jinxable beyond belief. And but it's going to be really cool. People are going to love it. And that's going to be a live thing as well.
Okay, great. Can't wait to hear about it when you can say more about it. Well, thank you so much, Dani. Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.